What's up guys, this is Mike Loris with game number 2 between Absolute Legends on the Radiant and KP on the Dire. Last game was about 20 minutes too long. KP pretty much already had the game like nice and set. They just had to actually just, put it outside the door, wait for the mailman to take it away, but they got held up. They took the game in the end regardless, but it wasn't really any contest from AL. They just took a lot longer to end the game than they really should have. Regardless, a win is a win, regardless of how long it takes for you to secure that win. And we're going to be moving on to game number 2. We'll see if AL could tie it up 1-1. KP had a pretty good showing last game with a very, very substantial Darkseer, which looks like they're going to be picking up yet again. Darkseer, I don't believe that last game died until like the very end when they were just like, they knew that they already won, they were just sticking around. But when your Darkseer just doesn't die, that says a lot about the entire game. Darkseer did very well, Nyx Assassin did very well for KP, which is why we see Nyx Assassin being banned out explicitly in this game. Of course, he is a strong hero on top of that, but last game KP kind of messed up Absolute Legends with that hero. So KP going to open up with the Darkseer, Keeper of the Light, as well as Magnus, going for one hero in every single lane. We'll see if Darkseer could run again into an easy lane. Last time he was up against a lone druid, and he really just did so much creep cutting. The lone druid did get a lot of farm, but just the small opportunities that the Darkseer found to dive in onto that lone druid and actually secure kills really gave him the edge in that lane in the long run. Additional heroes, Magnus as well as Keeper of the Light, means that KP are going to be what looks like just team fighting monsters. They have yet to pick up a real hard carry. If they pick up something that is very AoE oriented as well, so maybe something like a Faceless Void, something along those lines, or a Luna, then KP's team fight would be absolutely devastating. Huge amounts of magical damage, a lot of lockdown, or actually not that much lockdown. The Reverse Polarity will be really the only lockdown they have. But if they get a stunner, and then they'll have a lot of lockdown, then a lot of damage, and a lot of just burst to kill off all of AL. And so far AL, they're incredibly soft. Rubik as well as Gyrocopter Chen. We've seen the Rubik Gyrocopter combination several times before, and the Chen pickup from Absolute Legends, signifying that they want to put on a little bit of early aggression. Would not be surprised if we see a Gyrocopter as max out his Rocket Barrage. And ooh, I like that ban from KP. Usually you won't see a Lycanthrope being picked up, well, in most games actually. If you're going to go for a carry, there are generally better carries to pick from, unless you are, of course, LGD International, in which case you will go ahead and pick that hero and then win with it. But that hero is going to be a very heavy pushing oriented carry hero that will partner very well with the Chen. That Howl does wonders. Gyrocopter, if the Lycanthrope was picked up, would be forced into the mid lane. Not a huge deal for Absolute Legends, but it's a very smart ban out because they really don't want to deal with that amount of push. Faceless Void as well as the Juggernaut, final bans being banned out as both teams seeming to look for another carry hero. AL though could just as easily run the Gyrocopter as their hard carry. We'll see if Jolene is up to running that as he did in the last game. Is it a he? I'm assuming it is a he, although Jolene seems like a little bit of a girl's name. Who knows? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's one of those names that's just both.
10 seconds remaining.
A Gyrocopter can run as a support or a carry, so the carry carry bans out from KP might in the end be a little bit futile, although Gyrocopter is probably going to run mid actually. Yeah, with the Rubik as well as Chen, you could pick up another carry hero, or you could run the Gyrocopter then, in which case AL would probably look for the likes of Puck or Queen of Pain. Actually, Puck would be really good in this game. You need that silence to really lock down the casting heavy side of KP. And KP, they aren't going to pick up a Puck or anything like that, or they shouldn't. I'd be surprised if they did go for a Puck. So Puck should be open for AL. That should be something that they are going to want to pick up, unless they of course want to go with another carry, in which case Puck is probably not going to be the best choice for them. I've seen Puck run on the safe lane before, and it has been with mixed results depending on what kind of aggressive lane, if at all, the Puck runs up against. But we'll see. KP really taking their time with this pick. Do they want to go for a supreme amount of team fight? That's the real question there. They themselves have banned out the Luna, and the other big team fight carry is the Faceless Void, and he's also banned out. KP, are they going to go something really weird like the out? Oh my god, I was just thinking that. I knew I should have said it sooner. I'm like, they wouldn't be taking this long if they were just going to go for something real simple like a Queen of Pain or a Puck. they were thinking of the Alchemist, and I said it, and like the words are coming out of my mouth when they picked it. So I'm gonna take that one as a win for me. The Alchemist. The 4-1 strategy from KP is gonna be devastating, because all those other 4 heroes do have a good mix of damage. Not as much stun as they would really like. Alchemist can help a little bit in that, but really KP, their whole goal in this game is to be defensive versus the kind of aggressive lineup from Absolute Legends with that Chen early on. You would expect AL to try to make a couple of pushes happen, and they're also going to go for an early clockwork, or not an early clockwork, a clockwork hit all. Final pickup from KP, going to be a little bit more team fight from that support hero, as well as some more lockdown. So KP have a good amount of team fight, and if they buy enough space for the Alchemist to get a lot of farm, then the Alchemist can just tear through Absolute Legends. But that is always a big if. If you could shut down the Alchemist, then he's really not a threat at all. Even if he does have that potion that he could throw at you, you could just man tank that and then just go turn around and kill him, because he won't be doing any damage. The pick from the Clockwork will give Absolute Legends a good amount of initiation range. Of course, it will help them control those fights. They get initiated upon. A couple cogs would help counter that off, and Leshrac is going to be the final pickup from AL. So they're really going hard into that support, into that pushing role. That is going to force the Gyrocopter into the solo mid to go toe-to-toe with that Magnus. But Leshrac is a core carry hero. Haven't seen this in a little bit, but it kind of works. You partner up with the Chen, and you get a lot of pushing with what should be a early levels of maxed out Edict. Let's go with Nature's Prophet again. Okay, on the KP side, we see Zizu on. Let's mega kill announcers. We see Zizu on the Jakiro. Pylai Dai is going to be playing the Keeper of the Light. Arise is going to be heading mid lane as the Magnus. We see Eternal Envy hard carrying that Alchemist. Actually, Bone is on the mid lane right now. Should be going to the hard lane though, as the Darkseer. Rise is going to be playing the Chen. We see the stand-in is Jolene going to be playing the Leshrac. Mid lane it is going to be Miracle's Gyrocopter. On the top lane, Mania is going to be playing the Clockwork, and that leaves Miggle on that Rubik. It's going to be a defensive tri-lane from Absolute Legends, kind of to be expected whenever you pick up a Chen. Going straight into the enemy jungle can always be risky, especially when there is a Keeper of the Light as well as a Jakiro on the other end. You don't really want to run headlong into those types of heroes, so it's going to be very, very safe. Going to get Jolene as much farm as AL could possibly allow the Leshrac to get. And then once Chen hits possibly level 3, go for a push. Or once Leshrac hits level 5, maybe. But really, it's going to be the push that's going to be hard for KP to deal with on this bottom lane. They're going to have to move like Keeper of the Light down there, possibly the Jakiro as well. Because Darkseer, although we will have Ion Shell, it won't be enough to withstand the push coming from the Leshrac as well as Miggle. They really need burst damage in order to keep that pushing down. And it's going, not Miggle, Jolene as well as Rise. They'll need burst damage to keep that push down, and they are kind of light on burst damage. Miracle is going to be going toe-to-toe with the Magnus in the mid lane. Should be relatively even. Miracle will be able to get a lot of passive harassment with taking an early point in Rocket Barrage. Just in case Arise decides to get a little bit too uppity. Mania already using some cogs to block off these creeps. Is he going to do it again? I don't think he will. Can't catch this one a little bit too far off. It's going to put the lane in a little bit of their favor, although the blocking, it's going to equalize it just a little bit. Eternal Envy, for the most part, though, should have an easy time free farming this top lane. However, really, it's going to be whether or not, it's going to be how well KP weathered the storm of the push from AL. Because when you pick up a core Leshrac, you really expect to have these types of pushes happening. Already level 2 with that Diabolic Edict, so he's going to be leveling up pretty quickly, although Rubik doesn't explicitly help in any sort of huge pushing. Just being there to support with that telekinesis in case anyone decides to come and defend will set up for the stun from the Leshrac. And Leshrac's completely free farming this lane. It's really the experience that's important on that lane. And Chen is also going to be farming up the jungle. So by the time Chen gets to level 3, Leshrac should be level 5 unless Chen really finds himself a good stack of creeps, which looks like there are no Wildkins, so unfortunately he cannot tornado them down. Mania on the top lane is really playing with fire right now. Zizu and Pylai Dai do have more than enough to kill him off, especially since the potion now being shaken by the Alchemist. The cogs will push him back, but the stun onto Mania will happen. Right clicks from the other side. Does Eternal Envy have enough to kill off this Clockwork? I don't think he will. Cogs saving the Clockwork just barely from the clutches of death. He'll be able to chug that potion and be just fine, although Eternal Envy They're thinking about going in again, but the cogs preventing them from doing so. Really don't want to get stuck in a set of cogs when you are close to the enemy tier 1 tower like that. That is just a recipe for disaster. Bone is not even going to bother going to that bottom lane. Instead, going to stack up this hard camp and clear the easy camp in between those stacks. Level 3 for the Leshrac, 2 Edict for him as Rise is not doing much. He's actually not farming. Using the Centaur, possibly going to prep to clear the creep wave with it. They're just looking to make a push very early on. Level 3 on the Leshrac seems to be the comfortable level for AL to make their push. And KP, there's no one on this lane. This is going to be at least 1 tower down, especially since they have the Centaur waiting in the wings. As soon as this creep wave gets down to this area, the Centaur is going to pull it, possibly stack it into the Ancients just to feed him into the grinder. They don't want to deal with those creeps, although it looks like they may not even have to. The tower's taking a ton of damage. Ring of Basilius up on the AL side. No fortification from KP either. The tower's going to drop. Leshrac taking a nice chunk of gold from that one. If you get Arcane Boots really early, that could be an early Bloodstone for this Leshrac in the works, as well as add a lot of longevity to this push, allow for Miggle to spam out some Fade Bolts, help the pushing even more. But from there we go. Another level 2 Edicts. The Centaur goes to the front lines, looking to pull the creep wave, at least delay it a little bit. And this tower already brought down to half health. KP not even using a single fortification for this, though they have Mania on the run. Really, this Clockwork is getting enough so that he's not completely losing the lane. I mean, Eternal Envy spending a lot of time for this. Bone's going to move in right away. The Illuminate does get dodged, and Ion Shells in this Darkseer. Mania could try to fight this out, is probably going to die over. This is probably going to be our first blood. Eternal Envy, though, spending so much time chasing down this Clockwork with the cogs. Can Mania get himself killed by the enemy tower? I don't think it will. No, it's definitely not. Pile die. Oh, well, Q Benny Hill, because Mania is on the run. Oh, it's gonna die. There we go. Clockwork finally dropping first blood, but look how much time he took. So many heroes were on that top lane, just chasing down that Clockwork constantly. Eternal Envy even left the lane for a good, what, minute at least. Oh my god, and look at this. AL gonna bust up the high ground. Level 2 Edict still, because there hasn't really been that much experience flowing split between 3 heroes. Now they definitely need the fortification. Keeper Light with level 1 Blast will help out a little bit, but really it's the Edict that's gonna be the problem, and there's really no way, aside from just bursting down the soft Leshrac, to deal with that. 1800 gold with 2 towers down. AL already are looking pretty good as the Alchemist. What? Hold on. Here, we'll just play this back a little bit. Cogs catching the Alchemist, and Alchemist getting messed up by 1 point in battery assault. Yeah, it is going to be enough, and Alchemist dies in this top lane. His support nowhere to be found, forced to the bottom lane. And Mania finds himself a free kill in this top lane. So really, AL, though the score is 1-for-1 and they did drop the first blood, Miracle is going to have such a huge gold advantage over Arise, even if Arise somehow managed to get more creep kills than Miracle, which right now just isn't happening. Having 2 towers in their favor this early on in the game is absolutely huge, and they can even keep trying to breach the high ground. Rise is going to need a little bit more experience, try to get to that level 5 mark, or maybe just want to pull a Centaur and then just go right back in. But Jolene does have those arc boots up, and level 3 on the Edict. Leshrac still a very soft target, so if KP could somehow close the gap, catch him with a Shockwave or an Ice Path or any sort of mixture of those, they can easily burst this Leshrac down and completely halt the push from AL. The problem from that is that Zizu needs to be on this top lane. He needs to be the one supporting Eternal Envy, because if that doesn't happen, then the Clockwork is going to find another opportunity to go real aggressive onto that Alchemist, and well, we all saw what happened last time that happened. Smoke now up. Jolene and Rise possibly looking to clear out some of the other lanes of towers, although they're making the long trip up to that top lane. Smoke movement speed definitely going to help them. Arc Boots is going to give Mania a little bit of much needed mana. But they're going to go for a simple push in this top lane. Zizu only has 1 point in Dual Breath, 2 points in Ice Path, won't really help that much. And look at this, Pile Die has been forced down to the bot lane. This is just such smart rotation from AL, yanking the Keeper of the Light back and forth between the top and bottom lanes. And Miggle is going to be okay with just sticking onto his bot lane. Going to take a little bit of damage from that Illuminate, yes. He should be more than fine. Oh, Zizu in a huge amount of trouble. There's a latch in. Split Earth to follow up as well. Zizu is not long for this world. Clockwork does pick up that kill. Eternal Envy on the run. Going to be spotted by the creep wave as Jolene takes a little bit of a bath in the tower. No hook shot, no stuns from Rise, but it looks like they should be okay with letting Eternal Envy get out there, as they will be. And instead, the target is going to be Pile Die, with Gyrocopter coming in with a maxed out Rocket Barrage. Pile Die now spotted out. Rocket Barrage will come as well as the call down. Lifts up into the air for the missiles to hit him on the way down. Here comes the Alchemist, gonna land a stun to Miguel. Will kill him off. That's a really high damage spell, that stun. Meantime, top lane Keeper Light has been dived. He was dived and then he was killed. Alchemist will get out of there with his life, but the tower push will commence on this top lane. Can give Mania as well as Miracle even more gold. Jolene as well on his way to the Bloodstone. Could pick up the point booster right away. Not going to get that tower, but still it's a lot of gold for AL. And Rise, how is his levels doing? Level 4 on him. If he gets to level 5, then the pushing will be that much more relentless. Although Jolene, still with those arcane boots, can continue to push down that top lane. Miracle still holding on strong into the mid lane, where Rise has yet to leave, does have reverse polarity, can use it to try to get a kill onto the Gyrocopter, or try to cancel off the push from AL, try to burst down that Leshrac. But Pylai Die now on the spot lane, now on this top lane once again, going to hit very, very hard onto that Leshrac. Something that they really need to do, just burst him down. 2 Ion Shells will force out this push, at least for now, but we do have Rise as well as the Clockwork going to go for a Rise, who's already very, very weak and get dropped down. No time for a Skewer. Zizu on the run. Is there a hook shot? Yes, there is. Mania is dead on the mark. Centaur Stomp to follow up, and Zizu's going to die. Chen does take that kill, and now the tier 1 tower mid is in a lot of trouble. KP just cannot deal with this pushing from AL. AL just playing so very well, forcing the best anti-pusher on KP, the Keeper of the Light, to go back and forth between places where he really cannot afford to go. Now Bone is in a lot of trouble, trying to bottle through the Edict. Not going to happen. Oh, teleport away. It's going to be close. 60 HP. He will stick the landing. So he will just barely escape with his life. Now Leshrac, you can see the big items coming up. Already 8 minutes in, and a point booster as well as arcane boots are completed on this Leshrac. Tier 2 towers left for AL to take. They should be able to easily snipe those out, especially since Rise is almost at the level 5 mark. That means 2 creeps, and they're gonna even find the Darks here. There's the call down open up as well as the Rocket Barrage. The slow will allow for the Centaur to get in range for the stomp, killing off that Darks here. Rise now has hit the level 5 mark. He could steal another creep in another 15 seconds once they spawn. No good creeps really nearby except for that Centaur, but looks like they don't even need to. They'll burst down the creep wave with the flak cannon from the Gyrocopter, focus the Edict on the tower. This tower is not long for life, but here comes the rest of KP. They do have a lot of AoE, as I kept on saying in that in the initial draft. If Rise can get a good RP, it could be the death of a lot of AL heroes. There's the Ice Path flying through, not hitting onto anyone. Jolene got to stay on the edge of that zone, but a huge Edict onto Zizu, only onto one target. That will bring him down. Now Rise looking for an RP or a Skewer or anything, but nothing could hit. RP trying to be casted, but Gyrocopter with the right click, killing the Magnus before he could do so. And that's 2 down from KP. That's 2 more that they desperately cannot afford to lose. And this push will continue. Jolene got to dodge them illuminates, and he will do so. But Eternal Envy on this top lane with the help of Bone, as well as Zizu and Pylai Die, has returned to this top lane as well. But they really have to watch out. The Edict damage as well as the Rocket Barrage damage can shred single target units. And so KP, their best bet is to fight in the lane, where the Rocket Barrage and Edict can actually have a chance to bounce onto something that is not an enemy hero. But at the same time, they really can't afford to just go straight toe-to-toe with them, because then they'll be running into a Rocket Barrage. They'll be running straight into Cogs, and that's incredibly dangerous. Speaking of Cogs, Mania does have a hook shot, wants to use it. Miracle is going to take a sizable chunk of damage, but bottling that up should be just fine. Got to keep my eye on Mania. If anything's going to start, it's most likely going to be from him. Unless KP somehow catch someone with an Ice Path, the Clockwork is most likely going to be the one diving deep. Spotting everyone out with the rockets. Looking for it. Centaurs spotting out the Jakiro. There's a Shadow Blade up on Miracle. The early game gold really doing well. There's a hook shot going on to Eternal Envy and a Rocket Barrage and a call down. Boom goes the Dynamite, and 2 are down in an instant. Pylai Die gonna charge up his Illuminate, but Jolene is here, gonna fight toe-to-toe, taking a lot of damage, but Mania is there with the Battery Assault. There's a Skewer back as well as an RP. Gonna kill off the Rubik, but Rise gonna pop up the Hand of God. Bone gonna drop the Wall of Replica, prevent anyone from chasing after Miracle and helping him out, but it does have the Shadow Blade, so he'll be just fine. In the meantime, top lane tower still doing a little bit of damage. Gyrocopter will kill off the Keeper of the Light. Where was that? That was just with the Rocket Barrage following him down with that Shadow Blade. And KP, they do only manage to pick up the Rubik, and now the tower is not long for this world. The Soul Booster from Leshrac can be completed if he does choose to do so, but he's instead going to wait around level 8 on this Leshrac, so level 4 Edict, tear down this tower. Dire side, tear down these towers as Gyrocopter finds that last right hit. So all tier 2 towers, albeit one, have been taken down for the AL cause. And they have held strong into all their tier 1s. Pretty much all the same amount of damage. Even the top lane not even touched there. don't know how that didn't happen, really. Good usage of the creep equilibrium for KP to make sure that they don't push too aggressively for Alchemist to get in outside of comfortable farming range. But holy hell, that's a lot of rings. Clockwork is going to go for a hood straight into a pipe. Try to defend against that Keeper of the Light Illuminate, which isn't really that high level. Actually, level 3, it's not bad. It is definitely the biggest threat on the KP side right now, aside from that reverse polarity. You're only landing 2 in that reverse polarity, and with one of those being the Rubik and Chen, really, you need to land that RP on the Leshrac, who looks like is going to sidetrack the build a little bit for a Drum of Endurance, wants to get as much early game as they can possibly get. Mania, possibly looking for a hookshot. Rise, you gotta be careful. Duck and weave, man, duck and weave. Split Earth as well as Flat Cannon gonna demolish that wave. Now this tower is gonna die. Edict, already used, but in another 8 seconds they'll have it. Looks like the tower not even gonna last that long as the mech has been picked up by Rise. Mech as well as Pipe gonna be up by, like, what, the 18-minute mark? The last tower does get taken by Absolute Legend. Now KP, they have absolutely no map control. It's going to be a matter of how are AL going to enter the base, which is going to be the real problem for them. But they already are working on it. That answer is going to be the Pipe, which is almost complete from the Clockwork. I mean, he's been pretty much he's been aiming for that item for the past 12 minutes. Once he gets that, then KP, their counter push is not going to last, because even if Keeper has a fully charged blast, the creep wave will eat it up. Shockwave as well as dual breath might be able to clear it, but in that time the Chen creeps will be on the front lines. They'll have Leshrac to worry about with a maxed out Edict, and their towers are slowly going to get whittled down. And Mania going to find a hookshot onto this bot lane from Eternal Envy. Eternal Envy stuck in a cage of Clockwork and Centaurs, and he's not going to survive as Rubik has disconnected from this game. But really, Eternal Envy not finding the space for farm. He's going to go for an armlet, which I do like the decision to do so. Needs to go for cost effectiveness at this point. But with such a huge gold disadvantage, KP, they simply don't have any items. Their biggest item is Arcane Boots. Whereas AL, they have Shadow Blades, Helm of the Dominator, Mech on the Chen, Arcane Boots, and then someone, the Leshrac. Even Rubik has Arcane Boots and then Urn. Then Arcane Boots and almost a Pipe on the Clockwork. AL are just crushing the gold advantage right now, topping 10k, 13 minutes in. This is basically a textbook pushing strategy. This is pretty much as good as it gets, aside from maybe going for a Juggernaut with the healing ward. But then I would argue that they wouldn't have Leshrac, unless they want to do Juggernaut, Leshrac, and Chen. Now that's a pushing lineup right there. That's satisfying as all hell. Roshan will be the target with Lifesteal on the Gyrocopter as well as maxed out Rocket Barrage. Roshan should not be a huge problem for AL. If they do get caught in this pit, it could be bad with the Wall of Replica as well as everything Jakiro has to offer, RP, Illuminate. But KP, they're really nowhere to be found. If they do try to take a fight here, it's probably going to be their death with the mech as well as all these big items up from AL. Lean even going to get the last hit on that. Gonna snatch that Aegis of the Immortal. Mech gonna pop. And Miracle is just gonna make sure he holds onto this top lane. Finally took a little bit of damage, but really not that much. And is the Pipe up on Clockwork? Yes, it is. So now AL could start thinking about breaking the tier 3s. Possibly go for the bottom one where it already took a little bit of damage. Could be the difference, who knows. But with Mania on their team, with 3 points in that flare, they'll be able to at least hold on to some semblance of map control in the other lanes while they push whichever lane they do choose to eventually push. Aegis up in Leshrac could break the Arcane Boots and go for a set of for a Bloodstone for a Soul Booster, I'm sorry, to complete. Looks like the target might be a Rise. A hook shot will kill him off. Hook shot from Mania. Oh, he's running in a straight line. Rocket Flare to fly. Skewer forward. Hook shot blocked by the creep wave. Hook shot. Oh, he's gonna land it anyway. He doesn't care about the creep wave. There's the pulse as well as the edict, and Magnus is gonna die in a cage alone. Mania has been on point with these hook shots. Now even Eternal Envy trying to run away from Miracle. The damage might not be enough from the Gyrocopter. It won't. But Eternal Envy having to burn through 15 stacks of Magic Wand to survive that. Now they're all going to converge onto this bot lane. Arcane Boots going to make sure that the mana pool from Leshrac is always as full as can be. And the Pipe is flying out to Mania. So now AL, they're probably not going to worry about the push until the Pipe gets here. Rise taking a good chunk of damage from that, but he has the mech available. We'll probably use it, actually. Should use it so he could go for another one. Well, more Arcane Boots being popped off. Jolene is pretty topped off in the mana pool. And the push is going to happen on this bottom lane. Pylai already has used the Illuminate, going to send it wave after wave, as many as he can, try to whittle down anything he could possibly get his Illuminate hands on. But there's the pipe. They're going to breach the base right now. This could be a bloodbath. There's the pushback from the Keeper of the Light. See, the aggro has been drawn. Jolene on the front lines with that Edict doing as much damage as he can. Centaur's on the front lines as well. No Hand of God to keep these guys alive, so they will die at least. Illuminate. Oh, just barely. Hand of God. No, Centaur's going to drop. Those are 2 Centaurs down. And KP, with the power of Keeper of the Light, as well as only 1 point in Acid to take the aggro, do manage to hold on to their tier 3 tower, but you can see it drop down about, 1,300. No, not 1,300. It was at 1,300. Dropped down about 900 hit points. Actually, no. 600. 700 hit points. God, math is so freaking hard. I hate doing this. Why do I always insist on doing math when I'm casting? It's a bad idea. Jolene kind of sticking around at very low amounts of life. The regeneration isn't too high in this Leshrac, despite the fact that AL do have several pairs of arcane boots. The mana pool from the Leshrac still is, going to remain at the 600 to 900-ish mark. But now going for Perseverance just needs another 150 gold. He will have the Bloodstone completed. And then go for a push into the mid lane, perhaps? I mean, they already worked down the bot lane. I don't know why they would suddenly change their minds and go for a mid lane. Maybe it'll keep Pylai off of a little bit confused. Zizu has hit his level 6. Macropyre definitely going to help. Mania on this top lane only has Pipe and Arcane Boots, but 17 minutes in, that's not bad at all. That's exactly what they need. I say only, I mean, it's when you boil it down, it's only 2 items, yes, but those are 2 huge items for this pushing. Oh, Zizu gonna find Miggle with that smoke. Smoke ultimately unsuccessful. Rubik has revealed the fact that KP are gonna want to do a little bit of aggression, but really, they don't have any late game contingency plan. The only late game that they have is the Alchemist. When that Alchemist is a huge amount of late game, yes, but not with an not when Alchemist doesn't have any farm. Sitting so low on the gold per minute chart, 276 with even the off lane Clockwork leading the way. Bottom lane push is going to start, and with the Bloodstone now up, Leshrac will be able to heal his team if shit really hits the fan. Gotta watch out for this Clockwork as well. Mania gonna now see a couple targets. He has to go for Pylai. He's the most important target to snipe out. You could take out the Keeper, and then move and then just back your way out. You could easily slow push the base. Jolene right on the front lines. Edict is going to, oh my god, Pylai already almost dead because of 2 shots from Miracle. There's the hook shot in. They're going to land a hit onto the Keeper Light, instantly buying back, however. Call down not being used to any great effect. Rise looking for a blink into an RP. Has an opportunity? No, not going to take it just yet. The Mantis Illusion doing work, and there's the 2-man split Earth doing huge amount of damage with that Pulse Nova. Jolene's in the middle of everything. Oh, still has that Age. Going to get pulled back with 3-man RP. 4 caught in that skewer back. The cogs are up, but that just means that they're going to be trapped in this cage of Pulse Nova and Edict. Age is popped, but that's no big deal. KP are down 3. Pylai very, very weak. Even almost getting killed by creeps, 20 HP. Darkseer has to buy back, but these Raxes are not long for life. Centaurs as well as a Dark Troll are just going to go to town on that. Jolene zoning them out from their own fountain, trying to get Pylai as far away from his own fountain as possible. And now Miracle, oh, Pylai. Gotta be careful. There's a Rocket Barrage onto Bone, dropping so very low. Majesty charges will keep him alive, plus the mech charge. Zizu, though, gonna get burned down by the Pulse Nova. And there's the GG call. Pylai has had enough. 20 minutes in, and AL with a brutal pushing strategy, going to even up the series 1-1 with KP. Really, there wasn't anything that KP could have done. With that amount of pushing, it just was simply way too much pressure onto the towers, and I don't know, KP, if their draft could have been a little bit better, I suppose, if they had, I don't know, if they had the Keeper of the Light as well as Jakiro and the Darkseer, you would think they'd be able to handle it, but they really just couldn't get the rotation fast enough, and now losing Raxus so early on in the game, 20 minutes in, they don't have any late game. It's all going to be over, guys, so I'm just going to speed right on through the rest of this. They just work on the rest of the Raxes, 20 minutes in, 20 kills for AL, and the entire base from KP caved out. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked this cast, like, subscribe, as well as comment. If you didn't, let me know why. We'll wait for the score screen, and that's going to be a GG.